Larry tried to kill me.
Yeah. I was so thoroughly disgusted.
I mean, think about it. Why does it make you special to do what you do?
Packers jumping around. They rush 4. Plenty of time for John. Now squeezes, steps up in the pocket. LA can run inside the 10. Head first. He dives. 5-yard line. My goodness.
Rushing 4, ball comes out of the hands of Newton. It's on the ground, and it's still on the ground. Picked up by T.J. Ward at the 4-yard line.
There's also Brian Clady and Ron Miller. 3rd and long 3. Going deep. Oh, and he's got Thomas. Goodbye. Touchdown. Here we go. First snap of the overtime. The Broncos have been in 3 overtime games this year. They won them all. Got him at the 40. It's Thomas at the 50. Stifford got him 3 to the 30. To the 20. Thomas to the 10. Denver's going on to New England. They win it on the first play of overtime.
And welcome to the show. My name is Mundungus Creevy, and I am joined, as always, by my co-host Glenn, Cam, and Mr. Boggins. And you are currently tuned in to the 5280 podcast on the MHRT Network. We are a fan-led Broncos-based podcast filling you in on all things Denver Broncos. Now, I am not the one you've been waiting for, neither are the other 3. He played defensive end for the Denver Broncos from 2012 to 2019 after being drafted with the 36th pick in the 2012 draft by the Denver Broncos. He was a key figure on a historic defense in the 2015 Super Bowl victory, and in my opinion, one of the top 5 Denver Broncos defensive ends of all time. In 2022, he signed a 1-day contract so he can retire a Denver Bronco. He's going to be releasing a book soon, as well as a hunting and outdoor show called Wolf Untamed, and is currently building a podcast studio in his basement so that he can start his own show. Ladies and gentlemen, Derek Wolfe.
Let's go. Let's go.
How are we doing?
What's up, fellas?
Not a whole lot.
Hey, that entrance was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
Good. I'm glad.
And I'm not even talking about my entrance. I'm talking about the intro to the show.
Oh.
Like the editing.
Credit the Wizard for that.
Was great.
I like how Boggins is like, oh, like, thanks.
That's great. Wizard does responsible for that one.
Obviously, the first question always comes from me, and it's kind of an important question. I got it from Twitter yesterday. Pizza. Do you put pineapple on pizza?
I don't.
Good. Good.
See,
No,
I was so excited that now that me and Derek Wolfe are going to get along, and now you had to bring that question in and then just ruin it for me because
listen, if there's pineapple on a pizza, I'll eat it. But if there's a pepperoni pizza and then a pizza next to it with ham and pineapple, I'm taking the pepperoni.
Well, that's okay. Well, that's different though.
So, Derek,
I'm not going to order a pizza and put pineapple on it.
Oh, okay. I will. 100%. 100%.
See,
you cannot hunt a pineapple.
I feel like you put pineapple on shit pizza. Like if it's not good pizza, then you put pineapple on it.
How dare
like if you order Papa John's or like Domino's or something, like maybe put some pineapple on there. But if you're ordering like some good,
100%.
good handmade, you know what I mean? Like put some love was put into that pizza. Don't put pineapple on it.
I'll tell you right now. I've been to Italy. Best pizza I've ever had. I will put pineapple all over my Domino's because I know what I'm eating, and I know that it just needs to taste good enough for me to swallow. That's it.
Exactly. That's what I just said. You just agreed with me.
All right, that's fair. That's fair.
Now you're best
We're
friends
good.
again.
We're on the
It's okay.
same page.
So, Derek, I got to ask you, bringing you back to a happy place, Santa Clara, California. You spent a ton of time in the backfield of the Carolina Panthers that day, and I wanted to ask you about Cam Newton's chatter throughout the game, how it evolved, what it was like, and can you remember what you were thinking that moment where, and we saw it in our intro, he did not dive for that fumble right in front of you in the quarter?
Yeah. Well, I saw D Ware going for it, and I was like, all right, well, I'm not going to dive on my own teammate. He's got it. But when I saw Cam just standing there, I was like, I can't. He's done. He quit. He's given up because he whined the whole game. He's a prima donna. He was just whining the whole game,
100%.
bitching and moaning the whole time, crying to the refs about how hard he was getting hit. I'm like, well, maybe you shouldn't have been doing all that dancing and Superman shit all year. You wouldn't be getting punished. You would be getting punished by Daddy right now.
Yeah. 100%.
So I want to follow up on that, obviously, with the entire year. And this isn't obviously a very softball question to say, is the Broncos of the 2015 year the best defense of all time? It's not so much that question. That's a softball question that everybody in this room knows. The answer is yes. I want to know what made that unit of 2015 the best defense of all time.
Man, I think it started with Wade Phillips. It starts with Wade Phillips, and I would say the coaching staff that we had, we fed off of their energy. We had from top down, from Kubiak all the way down to Joe D as our special teams coach. Everybody had the same attitude, and it was like we weren't going to be touched. Nobody was going to touch us. It didn't matter what happened. We were going to finish. We were going to finish a game. We're going to find a way to win no matter what. And as a defense, we knew that we had to be a tight group, right? We built that tightness over the years because that defense is built over 4 years. It didn't take. It wasn't overnight.
Yep.
We had a really good defense with Jack Del Rio, but then we added some more pieces to that. TJ Ward and Aqib Talib, Darian Stewart. We just kept adding guys. Guys that just were. Then we added D Ware, and it just like took us to a whole nother level of just like the leadership that I think D Ware was like the dad of the group, kind of. He was like the voice of reason behind all these savages out there that just were. We had a bunch of savages out there, but we played collectively, and it was all for one goal. It wasn't about individual goals. It was all about, hey, if we win a Super Bowl, everybody's going to get paid. So let's just go win a Super Bowl. Let's just go make it happen. And we wouldn't be denying. That was our attitude. It was that Defu attitude.
Speaking of Defu, can you tell us a little bit more about the origins of how that got started?
Yeah, so that started in Ohio. A couple buddies from Ohio, from Steubenville, Ohio, actually. They used to say that all the time. And then we would take it. We said it in college at Cincinnati. Me and the Kelsey brothers. We all lived together, so we used to say it all the time. And then, for some reason, I just started breaking the huddles down like that. It just came out of nowhere. I was like, that was just the attitude, man. No, don't ever fuck with us. We are not going to be fucked with. Like, it's just going to be whenever that next team is about to play us and they look at us on film, they're going to be like, shit, we got to play these guys. Like, look at these guys, man. They are running around. They're everybody to the ball, all 11 guys at the ball every time. And the running backs and quarterbacks are going to be punished. It was a different time in football, right? Like, it's soft now. 2015 was really the last year that they let us just hammer quarterbacks and land on them and stuff. That's how I was raised up. That's how I was taught to play football. Is when you get to the quarterback, put your weight on him, make him feel you.
100%. Do you feel like that kind of like drove the bus a bit for the 2005 or the defense that was in Denver? Do you think that kind of like give it a little amperage to it?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, absolutely.
So we go from Gary Kubiak, gets one season at the Super Bowl, then he goes ahead and retires, and they bring in Vance Joseph. And I know that I was watching an interview you had earlier where you were talking about how Vance Joseph really didn't have much control. It was more the front office. Were you guys excited about Vance Joseph? Because I know there was a big debate on Kyle Shanahan versus Vance Joseph. So was it an excitement for Vance Joseph, or did you guys want someone else?
Well, here's the thing. We thought we didn't even know Vance was in the talks, right? We didn't know anything about Vance really, but we knew about Kyle Shanahan. You know what I mean? So yeah, we were like kind of as players, guys that had signed extensions and stuff. They were like, man, I hope we get Shanahan in here because he's, you know, he knows how to win. And I hope we don't bring some new head coach in that doesn't really know what he's doing. Yeah. And that wasn't Vance. Vance didn't know. It wasn't that Vance didn't know what he was doing. It was that Vance had, like I said, he had no control. So he didn't get to really run and operate a team the way he wanted to run and operate it, and Vance wanted it to be player driven. He wanted a player led football team. And that's what the most successful teams are player led. Now, he wouldn't let it happen. He couldn't let it happen really, because there was no control there. But yeah, we definitely were looking forward to maybe like a Kyle Shanahan coming in, and obviously that didn't happen. You know, that didn't happen. They brought in Vance, and we were like, all right, sweet, and we liked him right away. You know, we responded well as a team to him. You know, we all liked him. We all liked playing for him. He got us fired up. But then things started happening where it was like, hey, we're making suggestions as players. You know, because we started off 4-0.
Yeah.
I mean, we started off 4-0. We were playing good football, and then like things were kind of. But when you win 4 games straight, you know, things get swept under the rug, I guess is what you'd say. You know, and you trip over it later if you keep doing that, right? So we were like, hey, we were trying to nip some things in the bud. And guys were starting to. We had Gary Kubiak who took care of us as players, right? Like he rested us and made sure we were ready to go on the weekend. Right, we're not worried about Wednesday. Let's be ready to go on the weekend. Yeah, you know, let's get mental reps in if we have to. No big deal. But after the bye, you know, I think we who did we lose to after the bye? We had a week 5 bye. We won 4 straight, and then we lost after the bye. And John Elway was saying we got soft during the bye. I'm like, oh yeah, in 1 week we got soft. Yeah, you know. But that was how John thought. I think John always thought we were soft because after that year we went to the Super Bowl and lost to the Seahawks. They gave us a beat down in the preseason, and he came in there and told the whole team they were soft. Yep. So I think John just like he comes from a different era, man, where guys, you know, he played with 2 torn ACLs. So like guys aren't doing that anymore. You know, we have MRI machines and everything, and it's showing you what's actually going on in your body.